All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. This episode, we're talking about some top free agent edge rusher options. Cupboard could be very bare at edge.
That's a great segue, because if you want your covered bear, get yourself a lumberjack by Happy Nuts. We're actually doing a big giveaway this Sunday. Not only can you get a lumberjack, get some refresher spray for maybe when you're feeling just a little bit not quite clean, and we're going to toss in some body wash. This stuff is fantastic, smells great, and also keeps you very clean. This Sunday, drop hashtag Happy Nuts in the comments. We'll draw that thing Sunday's vid, and also there'll be links in the description for you to get your own Happy Nuts.
All right, let's do some edge rushers. And I gotta be honest. I mean, this is a great year for edge rushers. There's a ton of them. I mean, free agency, a lot to choose from. Some spender than others.
We're only talking 5, but there's a lot more we could add to this list.
Yes. So clearly, I mean, DJ Wanham, free agent, Danielle Hunter, free. I mean, right now, if we were to bring anybody back, it's like Andre Carter, Pat Jones.
What else do you need?
A ton. You need a ton. And we'll see which way this Viking squad is going. But let's just get into this top 5. Let's start with Andrew Van Ginkel, the Gink squad, the Ginkski.
The Colin Gink, and a guy who's familiar with Brian Flores. He was with him with the Dolphins in the 2019-2020. 6 sacks last year, 8.5 tackles, or 8 tackles for a loss. He's also pretty good against the run, 250 career tackles. So a guy who can give a little bit when it comes to rushing the passer and also defending the run.
Well, let's be honest. Andrew Van Ginkel isn't the sexiest names of players, but the dude has worked his way up. I mean, he's been in the league, I think, like 5 years, former 5th rounder. Last year, he was a free agent. Tested a little bit, ended up going back to the Dolphins, which was a good move. He had a very good year. Who went down for him? Who's their linebacker? Phillips.
Yep.
Jalen Phillips went down. He steps in. He's good against cover. I mean, you said it all. He's good in coverage too. He's just a dude that's just waiting for his chance, and he could just step right in and probably be a starter.
And it sounds like there is mutual interest between him and the Dolphins to return. We'll see. They're in cap hell over there in Miami, so maybe they can't afford him. And the Gink comes home to Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, they're projecting probably like a 2-year, $15 million contract. Still young enough to take a swing on him. So Andrew Van Ginkel. Next up, Kyle Van Noy, the old man withers. 32, I think, signed with the Ravens last year for $1.4 million. Dude had 9 sacks.
Yeah.
I mean, he had his best year.
A couple things about Kyle Van Noy. He's versatile. He is so damn versatile. He can play inside. He can play edge. You can do so many things with him. He's like the Josh Metellus of the front 7, moving pretty much anywhere.
Whoa. That's high praise, man.
I know, and he deserves it. But he's 32 years old, you said. So I think the only way the Vikings go out and get him is if they do bring back Kirk Cousins. They look to win now. You go get a guy like Kyle Van Noy who knows Flores' system. He's been with him multiple times. But yeah, I mean, this one makes sense. And you said it. I mean, coming off a year, you're 31 years old, 32 years old, and having 9 sacks for the Ravens. He's played like in every scheme you can think of when it comes to defense. Kyle Van Noy is very well versed.
Inside, outside, he can pretty much go anywhere. Same with Andrew Van Ginkel, by the way. I can't say enough about Andrew. But Van Noy, you're right. This would be a guy like we re-sign Hunter, and we don't have Wanham. We just need a second fiddle, a 1-year dude to go out there, and we know he's going to get him 8 to 10 sacks. So obviously, Kyle Van Noy would not be part of a rebuild.
He would not. No, not at all.
All right. Someone who could be is Chase Young, the man who was traded for a 3rd rounder, I believe, this year, Washington to San Francisco. Still only 24 years old.
Yeah, what was he, the 2nd overall pick a couple years back? And really, I mean, he had a good rookie season. I think he had 7.5 sacks as a rookie. Then he tears his ACL year 2. It really sets him back. He missed the majority of that season, misses most of 2022, comes back, and he, was traded to the Niners halfway through the season. They did manage 7.5 sacks last year. I think he actually had a really good game in the Super Bowl. So Chase Young just hasn't quite hit that, level of expectation being the 2nd overall pick, but he could still get there if he just stays healthy for a couple of years.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the big thing. Like last year he was healthy and it showed, and he kind of looked like the old Chase Young, and he's not old. He's 24. So if you were to stay healthy, I mean, he would be a very, very, very good signing. He's looking at like a 1-year, $15 million. He wants to sign a 1-year deal. And when you look at the Niners blogs and stuff like that, I mean, they want him back. They liked what they saw. So somebody's going to take a swing on him. And the Vikings are kind of in a perfect spot. I mean, we're in a spot where we could be just taking swings left and right.
Take a swing on him. He looks good, and you sign him as part of this rebuild that's coming up.
I love guys that just have not panned out. like especially like a top 3 pick like him, and just sign him, and just we look like geniuses.
Be fantastic.
He'd look good in purple. He would. So would Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff, the Jet edge rusher, undrafted. The dude has come a long way and absolutely exploded this year on the scene.
Yeah, and that's the question. I mean, it's a contract year. Does he just do that because it's the contract year, or has he just evolved to that point where he's that good of an edge rusher? That's the question you want to ask yourself. But 10.5 sacks, 10 tackles for a loss last season. That's pretty damn impressive. This is a guy who doesn't start. He's a rotational guy. He didn't have any single starts last year, which is, he come here, he would start because we have Andre Carter and Patrick Jones the second. But yeah, that's my big question on him is, the 10.5 sacks. Was that just because he was motivated to make some money?
I don't know if you could also just get motivated and rip off 10.5 sacks in the
NFL. That's flatten out after that.
Quite the motivation, but he's horrible against the run. He's pretty much a one-trick pony, and he's very good at it to get after the quarterback. So I don't know if he would be a starter or how much he plays, but he can clearly get after the quarterback. Again, a guy that made him some serious money. They're projecting him at like $16-17 million a year. And a guy like you said, I mean, he hasn't started, so maybe he just needs that chance. But what a story. Undrafted to the point where he's just going to make a ton of cheddar.
And I don't mind that he's a one-trick pony. I don't care. Come in and do the one thing that you do it well. That's fine. I'll take 10.5 sacks.
Brian Flores could have a damn field day with him. Speaking of field day, let's go to the sexy one. We gotta mention Burnsy, Brian Burns, Carolina Panther.
When you say Burnsy, I picture our friend with the hat his grandma knitted him. Yeah, we talk about Brian Burns so much. I don't know if we have to keep doing it, but he's 25 years old, so you can sign him even if you're going to rebuild, because you're going to have a multiple-year contract here, and he'll be here when things are ready to compete. But 46 career sacks. He gets about 8 a season, 8.5 a season. He's good against the run, 59 tackles for a loss in his career as well. I think we talked to him at length, but this guy's an explosive edge presence. I think the Vikings could actually go out. Can't get Daniel Hunter. I could see him spending money on a big time edge, and Brian Burns fits the bill.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. His projections are only like $22-23 million. We'll see if that holds up. But yeah, I mean, he could be signed in really any scenario. Still being young, obviously a game changer type of guy. Poor Panthers. I mean, they had like multiple first round picks out there for this guy, and they just said, "Nah, we're good." And they're basically gonna lose him for nothing. And we would love him.
One of the worst general managing jobs ever from that guy who just got fired. What a shitty GM he was.
That's all right. We'll take. Imagine this: Brian Burns and Andrew Van Ginkel.
Oh my God!
Starting edge rushers. Let's go. And there's a ton out there. Go out there, check them out. Put them in the comments. Who do you want to come in as free agent? Don't say Daniel Hunter. That's cheating. He might come back. But free agent wise, who's a guy that we should be looking at?
Absolutely. Don't forget, #HappyNuts in the comments, links in the description. Remember this, the ancient Romans were the first people to start eating scrambled eggs for dinner and lunch.